Okay. Hopefully
And
we
are live.
I think so. Hey guys, how are you doing? Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Well, it says setting up and it doesn't. Oh, wait, I've got to click. Oh, no, we're good. Okay. Yay, there we are. Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to the Tangent Show. I think we're on 32 or 33.
32.
I can't remember which. Well, we look a little bit washed out, but that's okay. Right. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. It has been, oh my gosh, it feels like it has been like a jam-packed week, doesn't it?
It has.
Like it's a really jam-packed week. I hope you're all having an amazing week. We've got loads to talk about today. Gosh, we've got AI. Mm-hmm. I think we've got a lot of AI stuff to talk about, so we'll visit that soon. Yeah, lots of things to talk about. You're singing on Saturday.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot about that.
I dropped
Thank
Isaac
you for reminding me.
I really dropped you in it.
All right. You want to tell them the story?
Well, there's not really a story. It was basically so we've been doing improv a while. We always bore everyone by talking about how great improv is. Mm-hmm. And then we thought, well, let's add to this a bit. And I was like, well, you're like a very good actor, actually. Like you everyone's always like kind of like, wow, when Isaac acts. So I was like, okay, I think we should do a formal acting class. So we signed up with one of the prestigious playhouses around our area for an acting class, which is fine. And I went, oh, look, they also have a song into monologue class or something, a monologue into song class, where you learn how to sing a monologue. So I said, and I said, that sounds fun. What do you think, Isaac? And he goes, yeah, that sounds fun. Okay, let's do that.
Keep in mind, I was working when she was talking to me, so my brain was half functional, half working.
Well, I'm just saying.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
You had the information.
Yes, and we signed up like a month ago, huh?
We signed up about a month ago, and then I got an email this week, and it said, hey, guys, hope you're all ready for the class on Saturday. Make sure that you have the sheet music prepared and practiced so you can sing a musical theater song in class solo.
And I'm like, what the Wait, what?
So now basically I'm trying to persuade Isaac that he should be the Phantom of the Opera.
I've never seen the Phantom of the Opera. I don't.
You told me that you were familiar with the Phantom of the Opera.
Okay. Backstory. In fourth grade, I will never forget this. In fourth grade, I transferred to a new school because I transferred a few times when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I go in the new class, and this teacher, I still remember her name, Miss Fogine. Vogine, I believe, was her name.
Okay.
And she was crazy. The first month she talked about.
Sounds like a feminine hygiene product.
She talked about her kids, and then she says her kids were on the roof and they were doing stuff and they were eating poop.
Wait,
and I'm like, what exactly? And then I realized they're her cats.
Oh!
It took me a month to realize that. And someone had to whisper. I remember this. I was in fourth grade.
You're like this crazy teacher has her children live on the roof and eat food.
I think she's childless and just like her cats are her kids.
I understand that.
She spoke in a manner as if I thought they were her actual kids. So she played Phantom of the Opera non-stop. All she would do was talk about it, and I hated it. I couldn't focus. I couldn't work.
How can you hate the Phantom of the Opera? It's like a masterpiece.
Because it was not cool in my eyes. This wasn't Beastie Boys. This wasn't Run DMC. This was freaking Phantom of the Opera. I was not a fan of it at fourth grade, and it just it irritated me.
So what you're saying here is that on Saturday you're gonna like walk into like this prestigious playhouse, this class where we're doing this musical theater class, and you're gonna do the Beastie Boys. You're going to fight for your right to party.
I think
Is that what you're saying?
I think I've seen maybe 2 musicals in my life. One of them was this week, I think.
Oh, this is going to go well.
So I don't know. I'm going to wait to I'm just going to procrastinate and see where this goes.
Yeah, I know exactly how this goes. So this is what always happens, right? I'm like, oh, let's do this thing. And I'm super confident. And I've got a good plan. And then Isaac's like, oh, I don't know about this. And he shows up with no preparation or anything and then kills it every single time. And I fail at the last minute. So I know how this goes. You're going to show up and everyone's going to be like, yay, Isaac. And every time. Anyway, that's our week ahead, which should be interesting. So next week, we'll come back and debrief you on how our musical theatre escapades went. Quick hi to Chris and Brenda, Ali, Renee, Barbara, and Don, James, Sammy, all the way from Singapore.
Wow, Singapore.
And he says he's enjoying the Movember templates.
Thank you.
So let's jump in and talk Movember if I can find. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're down there. Okay, so I need my screen share. There we go. Okay, so let's not do that one yet. Let's go to tangent templates. Okay, so Movember. Oh, here we are. So these are all the new Movember templates we've been adding. And what we're doing with them, like, we don't just give you templates. Like, we don't just go, here you go, here's a bunch of templates. We give you a description. We give you a bunch of ideas on how to use them. With the joke notebook. Oh, yeah. We had fun with this week. So we actually put a joke notebook page in Tangent Templates as part of our Movember interiors. And I actually filled one out and made a little workshop video on how to write jokes using this page. So we ended up with, I don't know, it was a very hilarious joke about cats in space. Oh my gosh, someone came up with the funniest joke about cats in space. It wasn't my joke though, so I can't take credit. And
you conveniently forgot the person who said it?
I think it was like on Reddit or something.
Oh, okay, go right ahead.
So no, I was sort of like brainstorming and coming up, and then I saw this joke and I was like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that one. And it was about okay, so the cat goes into space, right, and he gets hit by a falling space vehicle. Okay. Curiosity killed the cat. It was funny. It made me laugh.
Isn't it a rover? Isn't Curiosity a rover on Mars?
I don't know. Why do you have to like bring facts into this? Oh
just
my
helping
God.
You improve your act.
Oh yeah, my joke. No, I came up with a joke. So my joke was, why did the cat go to the International Space Station? Why? Are you ready for this? This one's good. I wrote this like using my joke page. You ready? Are you ready for the punchline? Yeah. Okay. Because the cat wanted to study space communication. You laughed. It was a good joke. So yeah, communication. So we're having a lot of fun with Movember. Yeah. So it's not just like, here you go, here's a bunch of free templates, have fun. What we're trying to do is actually guide you through ideas for how you can use these, how you can niche these further, how you can customize them, how you can, like, it's kind of like a course in like template form, right? Because we give you like a bunch of extra information on that, both in the group and in Tangent Templates. So today we had a cruise journal today. Oh yeah, that's so cool. If you want to go on a cruise, and we talked about all the different ways you can niche a cruise. Like there's all different types of cruise you can go on. You can go to Alaska, you can go to the Panama Canal, you can go pining for the fjords, and also people have like cruises for different things, like, you know, that heavy metal one that I totally want to go on. Oh yeah, it's like a heavy metal cruise. There's just like a bunch of like old rock dinosaurs on a cruise ship,
aging like, Gen Xers.
That would be amazeballs. I totally want to go on that.
Heavy metal.
Anyway, so there we go. Oh, didn't you have something to say about Tangent Templates?
Oh yes. There's a small update I made. I snuck another update, which is actually going to be huge for some people. Oh, okay. With our PDF inspector tool. PDF. Yes, so you can now upload a PDF and you can click a button that will load all the pages up, and you can see the fonts. And
it's an awesome tool, actually.
It is. It's really helpful. And you know, as of now or before, you can convert any page into a high resolution, transparent PNG image, which is great for taking your images and uploading it to a service like Canva, for example.
That's pretty cool.
Right. So you can edit our templates with that. Well, what I just added by request was the ability to bulk download all your pages. So yes. And so to give you a perfect example, I got an email from someone saying that their KDP book is being rejected by KDP, and they don't know why.
And this is a book they created.
It's a book they created themselves, and it's a beautiful book. It's got really
don't give any information.
No. It's got clean vector objects. It was really great, but KDP couldn't process it. Well, there is an issue with KDP where if you are using vector graphics and you have too many vector points, that KDP will not process it because it takes too much rendering.
Oh, so people are creating their own interiors and then they have too many vectors. So that's the problem.
99% of the time, vector graphics are going to hands down 10 times better than rasterized graphics. Unless you run into a situation where you have way too many vector points, then at that point it's more cost effective or efficient to convert it into a PNG file. So essentially you are flattening your PDF. Well, now what you can do is, if you run into that issue and this person had this issue, I uploaded their PDF to our PDF inspector, converted all the pages into a high resolution transparent PNG file. So they were all in a zip folder. So it went from
a PDF into a transparent image file, a PNG image file.
They had 100 PNGs.
Yep.
And I did it in less than a minute.
Awesome.
And then I took that and uploaded it using our image to PDF converter. And so by using those two tools, I was able to basically flatten the entire PDF.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So now it makes it a lot smaller and makes KDP accepted.
In this specific case.
And it speeds up the process as well. It speeds up the processing.
So it's a really helpful tool. And so for those of you that are working with, if you have an existing PDF and you want to convert all of it to images, this is the way to do it.
Guys, if that all sounds like gibberish to you, it's okay. It kind of sounds like that to me too. But
for those that are in the know,
okay. But what I'm trying to give like the too long, brain fogged over version of it. It's basically what you're saying is that you can take a PDF, download it as images, turn all the pages into images. Re-upload those images back, and it will give you a flat PDF file that is a lot smaller and a lot more easy for KDP to process, and it won't get rejected. Is that
correct?
Yay! I understood the words of Isaac. Yes. So
thank you for speaking human for me.
Yeah, it is. I'm used to it. Okay, cool. So tangent templates. That was our updates there. Oh. So everyone's like tripping on Amazon Ignite at the moment.
Yo, dog, I'm an expert already.
Okay,
dog.
No, wait. So, okay, I have to tread really carefully here, right?
Yes, tread carefully.
Oh my gosh, no, because the thing is, right? Everyone's like, oh, the gurus are all over Amazon Ignite, and but okay. So I'm like trying to be like not a guru talking about something that the gurus are talking about, but Are you doing that to me? That's rude.
Oh, I guess it is.
Are you feeling all right? Wait, okay. So Amazon Ignite. Let's talk about it, just because I feel like if I don't talk about it, it's like people will be like, Katharyne, why didn't you talk about this? But if I do talk about it, I'll be like, Katharyne, why are you trying to sell us on Amazon Ignite? I'm not trying to do either of those things. So Amazon Ignite has just been announced by Amazon like a week ago. And here's the interesting thing. It's not really new, actually. They tried to do this, I think, in about 2016, I want to say. Yeah. Because I know we talked about it in our back to school class. I was really excited about it back in like 2000. I'm such a hipster. About 2016, we talked about it in our back to school class. And then they were calling it Amazon Inspire. And it sounded really, really cool because they said, okay, we're going to be selling stuff for teachers. It's going to be selling digital things for teachers. And they opened it up as invite only. And a lot of people applied and I never heard back. I don't know anyone who did hear back. And they kind of disappeared it. So there was Amazon Inspire. So that was about 2016. They tried it. It didn't go anywhere. They pulled it back. This looks literally the same, as far as I can tell, as Amazon Inspire. But I think that what's interesting is that the timing's probably a bit better, because I know there's more interest in printables. I know there's more interest in downloads now. However, the thing with this is it's basically for educators. Like it connects educational content creators with Amazon customers. So it doesn't specifically say teachers or educators. It says educational content creators. But it is kind of niche. It's for K-12. And what I suspect is going to happen with this is they're not going to like open the floodgates and let loads of people in at once, because you kind of have to be careful with K-12 stuff. Like if you go putting like offensive memes or like something on a printable, like they want to make sure that it meets standards and that it's not offensive, that there's nothing dodgy in there, and that it's high quality. Yeah. So I suspect that they may not open the floodgates all at once and they may not be letting everyone in. But I think it's interesting. I hope it becomes a good platform. I hope it becomes a nice opportunity for people who make these resources. I heard there's a 70% royalty they're talking about, which is pretty awesome. But also be aware that there's teachers pay teachers. They're basically kind of replicating teachers pay teachers, which is what they were trying to do in 2016, 2017. And teachers paid teachers was there then, it's still there now. So I'm kind of on the fence.
It's interesting. Now, you know, when Merge first came out, it was first open for application developers, and the intention was for actually game developers.
I remember that. They
was
were really aiming for a niche there.
Right, and it exploded, it blew up, and now it is what it is now.
So it evolved.
It evolved, definitely. So it's definitely something to watch. Who knows?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where we're at. We're not like, hey guys, we've got a course and we're teaching you how to do this and we're making lots of money out of it.
The next new big thing.
We're not there, but at the same time, we're not like, oh, this sucks, leave it alone. We're kind of just like, I've applied. I've got
Sure.
I have legit teaching.
Yeah, she's an actual teacher.
Well,
we partially homeschool our kids.
Well, I have like charter school qualification credentials, I would say. So I'm not really a teacher. Like I don't have like an MEd or anything like that. I did a couple of like child development courses, but I'm not like but yeah, I'm interested in this on a personal level. I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I look forward to hearing from you who try it and see how you do with it. And remember, there's a lot of other places that if you've got this content, you're putting it out there. Check out Teachers Pay Teachers. Check out Etsy. There's a lot of places already, and there's nothing to stop you setting up your own website and selling educational things on there. So. Yeah, it's cool. And actually, I have something else interesting to talk about. So that was the educational niche. I found, so we actually, this goes with Movember. So we actually made a Movember page. I don't remember which day it was. It was, let's see. We did a murder mystery page, which was kind of fun. So what we're trying to do with these is like just come up with creative ideas and see how many types of books and niches you can do. Right. So we actually did a murder mystery. I love your little skull and crossbones and your poison bottle. So we did a murder mystery page. And the reason we did this is that one of our friends is actually a professional murder mystery host. And we were talking to her and she was practicing on us. So we were kind of part of her practice murder crew. That sounds great. And it was really fun. So we thought it'd be cool to make a murder mystery page. And then while I was researching sort of different ideas for how you can sell this or how you could put this into a book, I found this website called Playing with Murder. And look, the whole thing, you can buy and sell murder mystery packages.
Oh,
so you can write.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can write a murder mystery and actually sell it on this website. And you can sell it as printables and whatever. So don't be selling our templates on here because so with our templates, you can put them in physical books, but at the moment you cannot distribute them digitally. But we may be revising that in future and looking at that again. But for now, you can't resell our templates digitally. But you can totally make your own and you can sell them on this site, which I thought was really cool. And also, if you make a murder mystery, you sell it on here, there's nothing to stop you turning it into a book that you can sell on Amazon as well. So I thought that was really cool. And I think it kind of goes back to niches, like Amazon Ignite, that's like education niche. This is like the murder niche. It's like anything can kind of become a niche if you just sort of.
The prices are pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're not cheap. People are selling their murder mysteries for like $40. But here's the thing, right? If you're organizing a game night, you're going to be okay with spending.
Oh, absolutely. If you're getting like 10 people show up. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't want to sit down and like write a murder mystery necessarily if it's just for you and your friends.
You're not buying a book. You're buying an experience.
Wow. I like how you said that.
It's kind of true though.
Well, and I think the other thing that's really interesting about these is how they niche them. So they have like one set in a casino, one set with Mardi Gras masks in the Jazz Age, set sail for disaster. Guys, are you thinking what I'm thinking? We've got the cruise template. We've got the murder mystery template. You can make a cruise murder crossover mystery experience.
Well, you gotta find the murderer before the Titanic sinks.
That'd be cool, actually. I'm sure there is a Titanic one. Yeah, but like, would you do a murder mystery cruise or a cruise murder mystery? What if you did a cruise murder mystery on a cruise, on a murder mystery cruise?
What?
See, now you know how I feel. Would you like?
Can you kill a cruise ship?
Okay, moving swiftly on. So what else have we got to talk about? Oh, check it out.
Wow.
Now, if you leave mean comments on YouTube, I will delete them because this is the political thing. This is just like, whoa, this is cool. Barnes & Noble, right, have they sent me an email last night. Michelle Obama has written a guided journal.
Nice.
Or at least her ghostwriter or someone.
Or someone wrote it.
And I think this is pretty amazing. Like if anyone was in doubt, like I see people. So after we did the coloring book course, people kept coming in and saying, okay, a coloring book's over now. Are they done? Are people tired of coloring books? And now I'm starting to hear it of journals. I'm like, people will say, oh, a guided journal's overdone. Are they saturated? Are there too many of them? No. If Michelle Obama has just put one out for Christmas, I think there is a pretty solid market for guided journals. Like I'm sure her people have done the market research to say, oh yes, people want guided journals. And I think what she did that's really interesting as well is that there's a purpose to it, discovering your voice. And this is kind of one of the things with guided journals. And so what we do, Tangent Templates actually has the prompt builder that you can add prompts to your pages. And we added that about a year ago so that people can create these kind of guided journals or prompt books. And I think the key thing with a guided journal is it needs a purpose. It's either like help, I don't know, learn to care for your pet, get closer to your partner, get over an addiction, plan your dream home. Like guided journals, they work well if they have a purpose. And the reason for that is because people are always looking for solutions for things. Like products sell best when they solve a problem.
Yes.
And the cool thing with guided journals is that you can make a book that solves a problem without it actually having to be a big textbook or a reference book that people don't really have time to read. And I think that's kind of why guided journals are really popular at the moment, because we're all too busy for real books. So it's like if you just have a book that gives you something critical that makes you think, it's like, oh, great. Okay, I got my thinking in for the day.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always something to gain when you have this very specific self-reflection on yourself, and it's very guided. So just, I don't know, there's just a lot that you can grow as a person doing those things.
Are you doing any guided journals?
I think I'm going to do Michelle Obama's. I need to discover my voice.
Okay, I'm getting you that for Christmas.
So I can discover my voice.
You're gonna
but I need to discover my voice before our class.
Oh yeah,
our musical.
I think that's a different kind of voice. I think you have a very clear voice actually for some things. Awesome. Okay. Right. Oh, what else have we got? Oh, are we ready to talk? Oh yeah. So California, they announced their CCPA, and I was freaking out about that because so in Europe they have the GDPR. Is that the thing? GDPR, which is, I don't know. It's like a privacy thing that you have to put on websites, and if your website is being accessed by people in Europe, then you have to give them a privacy statement and you have to conform to certain regulations.
That's why all these sites have these annoying pop-up windows saying we're tracking you, there are cookies, we're putting cookies on your machine,
right? Especially the British sites, they're like got these huge warnings on. So they said California is going to do this, and I was like, but then I looked at it and it said it's only if you are making over $25 million a year. So I don't think I think if you're making $25 million a year, I don't know, maybe you're watching a Tangent show, maybe.
I think that's reasonable, only because I think it's the large corporations that you're most concerned about them collecting your data.
Yeah.
But there's the smaller websites, they're not as much as a threat collectively.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
So that's kind of what it's about. So if you see people freaking out about the CCPA, the Californian privacy regulations, don't freak out unless you're earning $25 million a year, in which case you can afford to freak out.
You better hire your web developer to start making
and pay him lots of
changes.
Money. Yeah. Oh, hey, Jim Cooncat is here from Maine. Hi, Jim. I hope you are doing. Oh, because he's from Maine, which is why he's like a Maine Coon cat. Whoa, Jim, I've always seen you in the group and I've never like made that connection. Yeah. Oh, Maine Coons are cute. They've got the big ears and the big fur. Anyway, okay. Oh, I wanted to talk. I thought this was really cool. So I don't really have, well, I guess I do have a point about this. So I've been seeing this advert everywhere. This is the very lovely Cara Delevingne, who's pretty much the top supermodel at the moment.
She's about to be lunch meat for that lion.
She's about to be eaten by a lion, and she doesn't care because she's badass.
She's like fierce. She's like, I'll take you on.
I'm working on the face.
Gladiator style.
I can't do like the sexy badass face. Anyway, so she's about to get eaten by a lion. But then they show how they make it, which I think is really, really cool. So I love how like, oh wait, let me bring it in so I can see it. I love how like these dudes are sitting in a cage with a camera.
That's a very good observation. And she's like, this poor girl is like out there standing there. Well, that's why she makes the big bucks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And these guys are like, oh, hell no.
And they're all in a cage. And the lion's right behind her. So they actually legit filmed it with the lion behind her. But what I thought...
That's why she's got the angry face.
She's like,
she's
dude!
like, yeah.
Oh! But then, and then they got like a lion tamer guy. Oh, look, she's being the lion there. And then there's like this guy, he's like whacking the lion with a stick.
Wow.
But she had time to change her bra, so that's okay.
So did he, this
so
guy
it
had
can't
to,
be
like,
that scary.
That's true. Did he have to like Photoshop the fence in front of her?
Yeah, I know. Is there like another fence?
Yeah.
Like, she's just on her own with the lion.
You know, that lion, it looks like he's like tasing him or something in the background.
I think he's just gently poking the lion.
Right, stay down.
Right. Oh wow. Okay, there's boobies there.
Okay,
We'll go back.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, my point with this, what I thought was interesting is that behind the scenes is like such a cool thing to see. Like I always like it when I get into a company or a product or a person or something, and they share something special with their fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a neat thing. And so I actually found like these pictures, like the making of, way more interesting than the advert itself. And I felt a little bit closer to the brand. Like if I just saw the advert, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, but I'll probably never buy that watch. But then when you start like reading it, it's like you engage more with the brand. You put more effort into reading it and to absorb.
So for the next tangent commercial, are you going to crawl around in the grass like a lion? And then I'm going to show the behind the scenes of how I made that possible.
Wait, I'm going to be the lion? Or
no, you're going to crawl around on the ground like a lion.
I don't think you should be talking about this in public. Like we'll save this for later. I mean, I know I'm wearing the ears, but yeah. So no, what I was trying to say is that the lovely people who watch the show and who make books and who make cool things, I think it's really cool to share this kind of thing with your fans on your mailing list, on your Facebook page. Like if you're writing a book, tell them how you write the book, show them a picture of your setup, like maybe your writing area.
Yes, I think today we have this huge obsession with how things work. And so, I mean, like iFixit, they're like a popular blog website, and they have videos where they take like new products and they just tear it apart.
Whoa.
And they show all the insides of it, and people, they want to know how the inner workings of things.
I did that when I was little. I ripped up a watch and then I felt really bad because I couldn't put it back together.
Right. It was like if you're doing like stop motion animation, people, they love to see the story behind how it's created, like the behind the scenes kind of thing. So I don't know. It's just a general theme that.
So there was a show in the UK called The Fast Show, and they did like a spoof of Wallace and Gromit, and they showed the guy who makes like Wallace and Gromit with the plasticine, and he's just putting the bits on, and the interviewer is there, and he goes, "Okay, can you show me how you do this?" And he's like, "Okay, well I just move this hand, just a tiny bit, and then I move his foot, just a tiny bit," and then we're just sat there watching him like, "Oh," and then the guy's like, "Okay, can we go to the pub?" And then they just leave him there. He's like, just a tiny bit.
It's very, very time consuming.
I don't have the patience. That's why I don't like, because I love art and stuff, but I just don't have.
Oh yeah, you could spend 6 hours with stop animation. You could totally spend 6 hours on like a 5-second clip.
Yeah,
like it's that crazy. So, anyways, let me get something.
Oh, okay. So Jim says it's nice to know there are real people behind the product. You know, I think that's it, and I feel like a lot of it's about engagement, like how much time you spend with a brand. And so one thing that makes you feel close to a brand is like ownership. And when I was like doing business, like I did business school long ago, they were all about like, how can you make like your employees feel more invested in your company, your customers more invested in your brand? How could you make them feel like they have a bit of ownership over your products? And I think by sort of giving away this information, like by giving away the behind the scenes, you're kind of telling people like, you're part of this. You have some secret knowledge now that only our sort of inner circle have. So I think it's a really cool way of like creating fans. Like the longer you get your fans to engage with your brand, even if it's like reading a whole website, I think that's really powerful. So I'm just throwing out there like authors, try giving people a little bit of information about your life or your process, or like if you're a really private person, maybe you can just talk about something you don't normally talk about. Like maybe, I don't know, like maybe like you have a certain thought process, or maybe you've dealt with like writing has helped your depression or something like that. You could like give people some insight about that. And you can do that even with a pen name. Yeah. So you don't have to literally be like, this is me, here's my life. You can just give them some special insights. And that's really good if you have like a fan club, a mailing list, a Facebook group, even your own like Pinterest or something. You can just give people extra to get them engaged with you. I feel you're dying to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. So nerd corner, kind of nerd corner.
Okay, nerd corner time. Here we go.
Anecdote. Okay. So, I was on Facebook and I saw an ad for a monitor. It was like a portable monitor that it'll supposedly looks great.
Don't you have enough monitors?
Well, this one, it looks like it would go really good with my MacBook Pro.
Okay.
So it's I do have a monitor, but the layout with my laptop is kind of funky. But anyways, so it was on sale and I'm like, well, that's a really good deal. So I bought it. And then I got confirmation and all was good. And then the next day I go, ooh, did it ship yet? Did it ship yet? So I look and the site was down.
No.
And it was apparently it was a Shopify site.
Did you get scammed?
I got completely scammed. Oh my gosh. So I contacted my credit card company and I'm like, yeah, I just got scammed. These people aren't even real. And they refunded me after about a week. They refunded me and I didn't hear from the company.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's a month later, I get a random package in the mail. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now keep in mind, I ordered a portable monitor, right? For my laptop. And what I got sent was even something better. I got sent a mobile phone video amplifier. Yes, for $60 of my hard-earned money.
Wait, is that your monitor? Is that your high-end monitor?
That's a high-end monitor. Yes, and this is quite a unique device. And right. I open this up, and what it is
this gets better and better.
They put like a Forenso lens in it, or a magnifier, and you rest your phone right here, and then you can it gets magnified so you can watch it as if it's a large television. You see that? Look at that. Wow, it's amazing. Gosh. Wow. It's like having an
you should go and like haul those outside Target to all the Black Friday people who are like, I'm looking for a good deal on a monitor. You're like, I've got just the thing. Here it is.
So that's what
Isaac, so you got scammed by this.
I got scammed,
yes. Are you not supposed to be like the brains of our operation?
You know, it seemed legit. Everything was legit. It was a Shopify store. Like, I don't know. I guess
you got your money back.
I got my money back. So
got that.
And I got this cool mobile phone video amplifier. And what I love about this, look, it's 3D.
Wow. 3D.
Like, wow, it instantly turns your phone into a large screen.
That's cool in 1995.
Yeah. So
wow. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, so that's it.
Wait, so that was your nerd corner.
That was my nerd corner. But I've been seeing, so apparently the company has been setting up other Shopify sites. And I've been seeing ads after ads on Facebook. Every single time I report it as a scam. And it's pretty amazing just how they're able to just
that's funny.
Set this up. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. Oh, okay. So we've got a big thing to talk about. Well, it's kind of big. Let's talk about, I've got to switch over to this Verge article. So, oh my gosh, everything kicked off in our group after we shared this. So this was pretty out there. So the USPTO, which I know many of you are familiar with, which is our glorious United States Patent and Trademark Office, they are basically stumped. They haven't got a clue what to do about artificial intelligence. So let's take a very simple example, right? If we make a tool that generates, like, let's say something simple, like a maze, right? Who owns the copyright on that maze? Is it us who created the code? Is it the people who buy it? Like, you kind of handle it all through licenses. And that's kind of how software works. Okay, we give you a license that you can use this to do this. But AI is like on another level. This is like computers creating things.
There's two things that are happening now, I think, in that people are, traditionally we would purchase software. But I think today when more and more what people are doing, they're purchasing services. So like before you have you have an application, whatever you make on the application you own, but now people are paying for a service. access to use an application that's constantly changing and being updated. And at that point, the licensing, it's a completely different ballgame when you're doing licensing.
Right. But it's basically handled by licensing. So what's, and the thing with licensing is that's not like really a legal thing. It's like that's been decided between you and the customer. So it's kind of like a contract you've drawn up there. Now, what happens if there is no terms of service? What happens with AI that's like maybe owned by the government, or it's like just a public service that everyone can access?
Is it up for grabs for freebies? Can
or if someone creates it and doesn't put any terms and conditions on it. So USPTO, like, how does this work from a copyright perspective? So this isn't a licensing question. This is a copyright question primarily. And they're saying who should own the copyright on an AI created product. So let's give you guys, and so here's their actual, what they have done, and this is why I say they're completely stumped, is that they actually published in the Federal Register, I think it's called. This is like a government bulletin that goes out. The USPTO have actually put an official notice saying, oh, guys, can you give us some ideas of what we should do about this? And they've actually asked 13 questions. They've isolated 13 questions. Wow. Like the first one, should a work produced by an AI algorithm or process without the involvement of a natural person? I like now with natural people, without the involvement of a natural person, contributing expression to the resulting work, should that qualify as a work of authorship protectable under US copyright law?
This sounds more like a question of automation in general, as opposed to AI specific.
Well, bear in mind that copyright, so for something to be copyrighted, it has to be considered an original work of authorship.
Okay.
So the thing with this is, if there is no author, should it be copyrighted?
Well, fundamentally, isn't AI nothing but a tool?
Right.
And so, I mean, how is it different from using like a hand wrench, for example, in the sense of it's just far more advanced?
Well, and
the creator creates a tool to make,
and you know, a lot of people in the group said that. They were like, well, you know, if I use a hammer to build a house, or if I use a pencil to draw a picture.
Okay.
Here's the difference though. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So one of the most famous examples is this site, thispersondoesnotexist.com. So there's a lady, she doesn't exist. There's another lady, she doesn't exist. These are photographs that are being generated on the fly when I hit the refresh button. So some people are saying, well, you access this, you hit the tool, you generated it. So basically, if I hit the refresh button, I just generated that picture. There's no one sitting behind the scenes saying, I made this, I published this.
It's procedurally generated.
It's a computer making that. Can I really say I own the copyright on that picture just because I hit the refresh button?
Well, I mean, to put things in perspective, if you go to like Shutterstock or like some paid stock photography service, you're going to click on random pictures. You have no idea who created it, where it's from.
Right. So then my next question for the people who say, well, it's just a tool and you're accessing it. But because you're using a tool, you should own the copyright. So then my next question is, if I own a website that can make pictures like this, and in the morning I generate 10,000 of these pictures and publish them to a website, do I own the copyright on those? And from my perspective, if I hit this refresh button again, this picture could be one of the 10,000 I generated that morning. So as a user, there's absolutely no difference. I'm just accessing the picture. The only difference is the way I stored it. So it's a question of like, who owns the copyright? Like if I generate 10,000 of these and put them on a website, can I claim the copyright on them?
Right.
Like, this is like...
Also, what are the odds, statistically speaking, that this isn't accidentally recreating an existing person?
That's pretty crazy.
Because like, I could seriously, I'm worried I'm going to find my face on here.
I know, you feel like,
I mean, it could be like the dude from The Flash, right?
Right.
Or something like.
So, Sue says, can I send DM you Movember idea?
Absolutely.
Yes, please. support@tangent.rocks. We're kind of running out of days of November and we have most of them covered, but please send us suggestions and we'll probably put them in the future. Like we're going to keep updating Tangent templates. So Jim says the schemas are like food recipes and should be treated as such. So anyway, yeah, this person doesn't exist. And then Anna Bender, I think, shared this in the group, which I thought was really, really cool. There's a website called Art Breeder. And actually, if you look at our backdrop behind us, this rather surreal, wacky, whatever it is, was generated with Artbreeder. So what Artbreeder does, this is actually really fun. So if you start, oh boy, I'm not logged in. Okay, I'm not logged in. But anyway, I'm not going to bother logging in. But what you can do, oh, actually, can I create without being logged in? No, I can't. No. What it does is actually creates portraits. It can create album covers, and these were all AI generated. It can create landscapes. It can create anime, manga.
That's pretty, yeah.
We showed this to our daughter the other night, and she like freaked. She was like, "Oh my gosh," because she loves manga.
Yeah, she can use this for all her role playing.
But yeah, you can just generate all kinds of things. I like the general. Actually, this doesn't have the general ones. But some of the those are the general ones. Some of the general ones get really wacky. You're like, what am I looking at here? Because they kind of look like an image, but then you look at it closely and it's just like fuzzy, like this one. Like, what is that? It's just a weird, like surreal building.
It looks like surreal art, yeah.
But they're pretty cool for like sci-fi or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I generated one and it looked like a flying cruise ship on an exploding oil tanker. It was like,
it seems a bit chaotic now, but I imagine as it continually improves and gets better, that you'll be able to guide it.
Oh, this is another one
that you actually want.
This is an InspiroBot. So InspiroBot generates it generates motivational posters for you.
A random image.
Slavery has a soul, and it's a picture. Wow, House of Wax is Latin, and it means Mars. So someone actually made an article about InspiroBot on Geeks and Sexy. Jessica Ryan. Sorry, Jessica. I didn't mean to call you Jennifer. Oh, also happy birthday, Jessica Ryan. It's your birthday today. Yay! She actually sent me this. InspiroBot has made some just terrible pictures, some terrible posters. And this gives you all the terrible ones that it's made. Like basing your everyday on science creates try to tell yourself that you're horrible. Wow. Just try it. Just tell yourself you're horrible now.
Mind blown.
So I don't know. AI, I'm so like on the fence with AI. It's like, it's kind of brilliant. Like, it's kind of amazing, like, especially Artbreeder, like the kind of stuff that Artbreeder's coming up with. Like, when that gets to the next level, things are going to get crazy. But it's also a bit sort of disturbing of like, okay, well, what's to stop you making like billions of these images and copywriting them all? And I just feel like we're going to get to this point.
I think AI takes automation like and on a whole nother level. Like, it's just amazing the things. And
you made a really good point about AI as well, that a lot of it's basically built on crowdsourced data, or the data, like it's very difficult to source AI where it's
from. So a section of AI, like a segment of it is machine learning, and that's primarily what everyone's using now is machine learning. And so what you do is you feed it a bunch of data, a massive amount of data, and you set up your models to set up all the points, and then it analyzes that data, and based off that, it can attempt to create something new and determine if there's a high probability that it should be in this stack.
That it's right or not, that it's a good image.
That's basically
and so the idea is like these scripts, like if AI is done right, it learns. So it's learning to create better and better art based on your feedback. Oh, and there was another one. Let me see. I thought I had another one.
I mean, what's crazy now, Apple is using AI or machine learning to when you take a photo, it takes a collection of photos at different exposure settings, and then it uses machine learning to procedurally glue all the images together. So really what you see is almost like a synthetic image of a photograph, because machine learning is gluing in all the parts.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
But I mean, we've kind of talked about like Amazon and Facebook and how they're using machine learning. And basically what they're doing is, so for example, Amazon, they want to know what you're likely to buy, and they want to show you the products that you're most likely to buy. So what they're doing is taking a whole bunch of data points. They're looking at what you buy, what people like you buy, what people with similar interests have looked at, how long they spend on a page, how long their finger hovers on the mouse over a thing. And from that, they tell you what they think you would like to buy. And that's how search
now what's
results
crazy
work.
about that, though, you go into shadow profiles So like all the major companies, they have like a crazy virtual version of you. Like Facebook, they have a virtual version of you. They know what you like, how old you are, what you do. They know every detail about you, and they use machine learning to fill in the gaps. So it might not necessarily be 100% you, but it's pretty accurate on the data they get. And it's all because of based off machine learning and using a bunch of multiple data points.
The thing is, it's like they're just continuing to create content, and like it's like, who owns this? So Luxury Card Store just said, she tried Artbreeder the other day, but is concerned that some of the photos that were already uploaded do not belong to the person that uploaded it. Yeah, that might be the case, actually. I didn't look at the uploads. Yeah, I'm not necessarily suggesting you take Artbreeder and use it on your books. I had a quick look over their licensing. They said that you can use your work that you generate with that commercially, but this is like only as far as they're concerned. Like it's not their concern if you end up using something that's copyrighted and it
also, it seems to use like double exposure where it has like two images and merges them together.
Right.
And so
you might recognize like bits of a photograph,
yeah, there's a
in which
possibility
case where's the original copyright for that?
Yes.
So I'm not necessarily saying like take Artbreeder and use it for your books. Like they're saying it's okay to do that with. From KDP's perspective and from other people who might sue you for using a part of their image, you maybe want to wait until this technology is more evolved to a point where the original photo is nowhere to be seen, which is probably inevitable, really. And I think they're going to be using a lot of other data points other than existing.
I've seen variations of this where you can create brand new landscapes. So you can draw.
You can do that with Artbreeder.
Oh, you really can? Well, the one I saw, I think Google had it. You can draw mountains, just like sketch mountains. You can draw a lake, and then it'll automatically fill in what you've drawn, and it looks like a realistic landscape.
Wasn't this Google Doodle? Had something like
I probably it was a few years ago.
There was a Google tool. I remember the one that you're talking about.
Yes, so a lot of experiments floating around. It's really interesting.
I think the thing with this, like I feel people like we're in the group and they're like, oh well, it's just going to be like this, or you're going to come up with the licensing, or you're going to fix it like this, or I want to use it like this. I think this is more about where we're going. Like this is in the emerging stages. This is in like, okay, this is the future here,
right? And it's still
what's the future gonna look like?
It's still in its infancy.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, like it's got a lot more to evolve.
Like AI's gonna like it's just, I think the speed it's grown in like the last 5 years from when we started like sort of talking about like machine learning and looking at how Amazon, Facebook were using it to where it's at now. It's like this huge leap. In another 5 years, there's going to be all kinds of like AI generated information.
All the great minds are joining them.
Text, like I think AI is going to be writing books soon. It's like everything is kind of going that way. So you can see why USPTO are freaking out. Like I don't think I wouldn't like that job of having to make those decisions. So yeah, there it is. So there was one other thing I had to talk about.
Okay.
So this is another interesting one. So you know how we were kind of hipsters about Amazon Ignite / Inspire. So Wikipedia have announced something interesting. They are so they've announced this thing called WT Social, which is basically Wikipedia's attempt at a social media site, and they're like, yes, it'll rival Facebook. Which is interesting. So I did a bit. I because I love Wikipedia. I'm kind of a big Wikipedia nerd. I jumped right in there and I was like, yes, sign me up. I put my credit card in. I signed up for it, and I was like, great, I'm jumping in. I'm going to check this out. I'm a little on the sort of side about it so far. It kind of looks like Medium, to be honest. Like I see a lot of this just really looks like Medium articles, and there's not a whole lot of interaction going on. And also you have to pay to like create things on here. So I'm a little on the iffy side about this. I also did a bit of research on how this came about. And I guess what happened is that in 2017, Wikipedia created the Wiki Tribune, which was their attempt at a news service. So they had journalists and editor, all of these things. And they were trying to create a newspaper. And I guess that didn't go too well because they laid everyone off in 2018. Oh. But then they got a boost of money from some digital charities, and they created WT Social, which is their go at pretty much Facebook. But they haven't really like made a big thing of marketing it. And I think it's kind of complicated to understand and use. Like the help files aren't very well developed.
Yeah, it's not Facebook.
And it's kind of more like
we're conditioned and used to Facebook, and for something to, I don't know. I don't know if another Facebook competitor is even possible.
I think they're going to have a challenge getting people to use this. What I do see, what I like about it, they're trying to go for factual. They're trying to eliminate fake news. They're trying to sort of democratize information. And I think really their spin is that it's kind of free of political adverts and political spin. But I don't know. I'm sort of.
It means well.
It means
just the execution.
It's an interesting concept.
Lacking.
So there it is. It's a new platform. It's WT Social. It's created by Wikipedia. And I do love Wikipedia. But honestly, what I have to say about Wikipedia, they're really horrible about marketing. Because while everyone uses Wikipedia, they have like a million other services that are really, really good, but no one uses them.
Yeah.
Like there's Wiki Books and Wiki Travel and Wiki, I think it's Wiki University, and Wikia, and they have a bunch of cool stuff, but it tends to be very under the radar. Yeah. Like it just doesn't get a lot of attention. And I think it's because of the way they sort of depend on donations. So that, I mean, like they're very, ethical, like they're very positive in that they're not sort of driven by a lot of money and advertising and flashiness, but at the same time it'll be interesting to see whether they've got what it takes to sort of take on social media. So yeah, there we go. That was my other news for today. So what did we talk about? Oh my gosh, we had a lot today. So we talked briefly about Amazon Ignite. We talked about the WT Social. We talked a lot about AI, and as I say, there's quite a long discussion going in our KDP group about AI and copyright and trademarking on that, which is pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting. I think it's a topic that book creators in particular, people who are using a lot of graphics, text, information, data, curating those things. I think it's really interesting to them. And I'm like fascinated just by, wow, what a computer's going to create next? Like what's the potential here?
What industry are they going to destroy?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like it's a little bit scary. Like if you were an artist and you just drew manga pictures, like you said it, like in Curate, I made a copy of Midsummer Night's Dream. Yep. And I made like a manga book of Midsummer Night's Dream. And I hired an artist from DeviantArt, and she drew some amazing manga pictures. I kind of feel like I could use these images, the manga images, that are computer generated or AI generated, to make my book and save a lot of money on an artist. But I think that's a little bit sad because, like, I don't know, there's something special about things that are created by a human. It's like, that's why we buy like albums. We like music that's created by a human. We like, and it kind of goes back to what we said about the lion picture with Cara Delevingne, that we like the story behind it. We like to know about the artist, the creator. We like to know their thought process. We like to know who they are. And I feel like you do lose a lot of that with AI. So I don't know.
As of now.
But I don't want to be
as of now.
But it's going to get so to the point. Well, I mean, I feel like this person doesn't exist. It's pretty much there. It's like very difficult to, like, you wouldn't know. You got your new fake profile, right? Yeah, like you don't know that's not a real person. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. We are in exciting times. Like, I don't want to be like a sort of saying, oh, it's scary, it's terrifying. AI
the machines are going to destroy us all. They took your job.
I don't think it's like that, but there's some interesting potential. I do think it's going to change how we look at intellectual property. And part of me feels like that actually may be for the best. Because I mean, you just got to look at what's happening with trademarks at the moment. Like, what if like AI starts registering trademarks? What if like there's a lot of interesting directions? Yeah,
our system, our structures, our laws are not ready for the technology that's rapidly
absolutely. I mean, improving. Like USPTO is kind of a product from, I don't know when it came out, 50, 60. I don't know who really pushed USPTO. But I feel that USPTO still kind of run as if it's like the 1980s, the 1970s.
No, it needs a huge paradigm shift. I mean, someone with knowledge on how and a vision needs to put restructuring
right
together.
And I think it kind of goes back to like the Austin Kleon sort of steal like an artist thing as well, of like how like everyone's sort of standing on each other's shoulders, but at the same time it's like you don't want to get ripped off, so it's like,
oh my gosh,
where I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see how this affects things. So there we go. Just
and then we talked about my
and we
awesome,
of course
mobile video amplifier, and someone asked, is it hard to see on it? Yes, it's very hard because this magnifying lens has like these weird like circles. I don't know if you can see, they have these like tiny little lines. So the screen isn't that clear. It's fun in concept.
Are you still messing with that? I was reading the comments and I'm like, I look.
No, someone asked about it. Someone asked earlier. They said, is that hard to see?
Oh yeah.
They were like legit asking.
It's terrible. It's, a luxury customer says, oh, and when you click on the buttons at the bottom of InspiroBot, that it goes to Zazzle to print t-shirts and posters.
There you go.
Wow. See, this is kind of where I'm like, oh dear, with AI, because like, I don't know, what's to stop someone like generating like 1 million sort of t-shirts, uploading them to Amazon, like,
and then getting their account banned.
Well, that's why Amazon are getting stricter and stricter on bulk uploading, because honestly, you could probably start scripting stuff like that and start AI generating books, which I'm sure someone's probably working on right now. We're not working on that.
No.
But yeah, there it is. Okay, guys, I hope you have an amazing week. We have very much enjoyed talking to you. It's been a fun tangent show. We're off to practice some musical theatre. Isaac will be the Phantom of the Opera, clearly. And we'll let you know how it goes next week. We'll be back next Tuesday. Have a good one, guys. We love you. Bye.